Hey friends, happy summer solstice. We're going to do a little bit of a project today. We are going to celebrate the solstice by making a little arrangement that's going to be fresh but will dry for our front door. And you can do the same, so I wanted to do it with you. We're going to start with something that's already dry. So we have a lot of flowers here. Most of which, 90% of which are fresh, but I do have a few dried flowers. This right here is a collection, a bunch of dried cress, and it's going to form a good base. So basically what we're going to be doing is making a bouquet that is going to be outwardly facing, mostly full in the front and around the sides. The back is going to be pretty flat. That way it can hang on the door. Then we'll use pretty ribbons, etc., and it will hang upside down like this. And then we can just hang it from a hook on the door. So I'm going to get you guys in kind of close. I'll show you what the ingredients are that we're using. So we've got a whole bunch of flowers. I'll go over those in just a minute. And then we also have some twine that we're going to use to tie this up. I probably will rubber band the whole thing first, then twine it, and then we can put a ribbon around that to kind of cover up the twine if we don't like the way that looks. I also have some other ribbon here. This is yellow to kind of represent the sun, but it's nice and thin, and I was thinking of using that as little streamers to just kind of add to the arrangement. You can also pop in things like dried lemon slices or dried orange slices, things like that. You can hot glue those into this. So it's really just a big creative way to have fun. So let me bring you in closer and we'll walk through how to do this project. Okay, to start with, we have our cress, and then we're going to start adding some flowers around that. So we've got a whole collection of grasses here. I am going to, I think, use these as the central part of this arrangement and wrap the cress around it. These are nice and strong stems. This is the lowlander grass. Got a lot of it here. It's going to work nicely, almost like a broom stem. Okay. So there we've got kind of like the beginnings of this piece. Then we have some of these longer Highlander stems. I'm going to let these guys stick out a little bit so that they will be noticeable. Go put one in the back here. And remember, this is going to be hanging upside down, so it'll look quite different than what it looks like in our hand flat here. All right. From here, I'm just going to kind of spread this cress around. Maybe shorten it a little bit. Okay, so that's the beginnings of our arrangement. Next, we've got some Magus. Now this dries down lovely. All these flowers that I've chosen are going to dry nicely. So they might leave some seeds, like this has little seed pods and it does leave a little detritus, but if this is going outside, it's not really going to be an issue. Okay. And next, how about we put in some feverfew. Now I want to try to take as much of the green stuff off here, the bottom stems here, as possible. That just makes it easier to tie, makes it less, a lot of the greenery will just turn brown, so it won't be as pretty. But if we take most of the stems off, then it'll be better when it dries. And it won't take very long for this to dry. Okay, so far I'm liking that. I might add a few more stems. And I want these kind of to be layered, but not everything has to be, not every type of stem of the same type of flower has to be at the same height, if that makes sense. So like we can pop some of these back here. All right. Next, we have, how about some snapdragons? I love these colors because they are very reminiscent to me of sunshine. Okay, got a nice little layer there. All right, moving on, I want to add some straw flower in. And the straw flower here we've got in a couple different colors, and we can have that at different heights here. Can tuck it in a little bit higher there, a little bit lower over here. Straw flower dries amazingly well. It'll look exactly the same once it's dry. I think I'll pop a few like that. Okay. And next are the marigolds. Now, these are pretty vibrant, so we'll have some of these more towards the back, and we'll also have some up front, but the ones in the back here will definitely carry some weight. Okay. I feel like I might be missing something right here. Maybe a small might be kind of hard to get it in there. We'll see. Okay. What do you think? I think that's looking really, really pretty. All right, let's go ahead and get this rubber banded off so we can easily tie it. Okay, so I am going to cut stems. And I can always cut them back further. It's harder. I mean, you can't add, so you don't want to cut them too short at first. Once they're off, they're off. Okay, so we're gonna just take the rubber band over a few of the stems, and then we're gonna wrap like this. And I may end up cutting this off. This is just to give me some structure so it holds together while we tie it. All right, so here I have some twine. This happens to be from a company called Nutscene, and it comes in lots of different colors. I'm going to, I think, do this pretty low. Now, you're going to want to tie this fairly tight because as the flowers dry, the stems will get thinner, and you don't want them to fall out of whatever wrap you've put them in. All right. And I definitely do want to put ribbon on this instead of just the twine. Okay. So, looking good so far. Let's come over here. Actually, I think what we'll do is we'll attach our little streamers first. Let me get some good scissors. Okay. Definitely don't want to shred my ribbon. I think what we'll do, maybe, is cut a series of and I'm going to do 5 and just have odd numbers. Okay. I will take all the pieces together here, and I'm going to tie them in a little knot up here. Okay. All right, now that I will wrap against the bouquet itself, and then it can, it'll lay flat, and then it can move in the breeze like that. But this is the ribbon we're going to do to cover up the twine and all that. This is just a really pretty linen ribbon. It is, actually it's not linen, this one is silk, sorry about that, but I got these from May Arts. A little expensive, but worth it. Okay, so I'm gonna just start wrapping. This is kind of what I have to do when I wrap a bride's bouquet. Okay. Now I'm going to attach it on the back with a pin. So I'm going to cut this, and since it doesn't really matter, it's not going to be seen on the back, I'm not going to worry too much about it, but normally I do a twist like that, and then I tuck this part under, and then just pin it in. So, and I pin it in. If it was a bride, I'd be pinning it in 3 places so that she would have 3 little pearls. I'm only going to use 2 here because this is going to be up against my door, but I just want to make sure it is really on there. Okay. So this is where we stand for now. I'm still feeling like I'm missing something. Oh, and this one feels nice and loose. I think we might have to wire this guy in. So let me go grab some wire because, I mean, hanging upside down, it should be okay. We'll see. But I kind of still feel like there's something missing here. Now I could make a bow and put something there, or we could glue some blooms flat to it, which I think I prefer. So let me go get my glue. Okay, before I glue anything on there, I'm actually going to make a hook to hang this, and you won't even see this wire. It's going to go around the back here, underneath the streamers. And this is just a long piece of floral wire, but you could do it with paddle wire. I just want to twist a bunch of times. Okay, and then I'm going to do some more twisting here, just making a hook. I'm making a loop that I can hang the hook that's already on my front door on. Okay, there we go. So there's our loop for hanging. Okay, so we flip back over, and I want to add a couple of blooms, and since they're big, we'll go with the marigolds right here to fill in this bit of a hole. So I've got my cold glue here. This is floral adhesive from Oasis. It's challenging to get used to working with because it is cold. It's not a hot glue, so it's great, but it comes out of this tube very, very fast. However, if you hold the piece in place for 30 seconds or so, it is on there. It's a really great glue. It works better, in my opinion, than floral glue. It's what we use for a lot of fresh things, fresh boutonnieres, bouquets, things like that that need a bit of something to stick to. So I have cut this. I'm going to trim it flat because it does need a surface to stick to. Okay. All right, now I'm going to fill that cavity with the glue. If I can get the lid off. Okay. So I'm going to fill this cavity here with this glue all around. I'm going to use a lot of it. And then I'm going to turn this upside down just like that and hold it in place. And that will kind of cement it in there. If I had more straw flour, I might pop some here, but yeah, this is where we're at. And as this shrinks as it dries, you know, there'll be more holes that open up, but the spirit of the thing is here. Okay, so another project we could do is using a grape wreath. This is a wreath form that I got. I think I got it on Amazon, but you can get them in lots of different sizes. This is a nice size. You can complete the wreath all the way around. I'm just going to do a little section right here, but you will need paddle wire, and I need to find the beginning here. Here we go. This right here is paddle wire. It is flexible, but it's what helps you wire your pieces to the frame. So we're just going to start by attaching the paddle wire just with a bit of a twist. Okay. And I like to go around once or twice. Okay, now we're just going to start laying our ingredients. And the ingredients I have are pretty much the same as the previous. So we've got lowlander and highlander grass here. I'm going to lay these down, and we're just going to wrap them on. Okay. And then we move to our next ingredients. And here we've got clusters of both chamomile and I'm going to trim these stems as I go because I don't really want them that long. There we go. We've got clusters of chamomile here, as well as feverfew. So we'll put the chamomile kind of on the sides. Okay, and then the feverfew over the top, and I am gonna cut stems as I go. Okay. The feverfew is definitely more sturdy, stronger stems and all that. Okay, and then we're just going to repeat that wrapping motion. Now wrap it really tight because, like I said before, since these are fresh flowers, as they dry, they're going to lose their humidity, their moisture, and that will shrink their stems. And you don't want them to fall out. Okay, next we have some Magus. And you can see I'm just basically forming little bundles and attaching them down the wreath. Okay, now comes my focal flowers. This one's great because it's got a nice bend on the stem here, so that helps it like attach without too much issue. Oh, this one's got a nice bend too, and I'm going to make it a little bit lower, so kind of stair-stepping that. You do have to be careful with this because the wire will break these stems, so go a little bit easier on whatever focal flower you choose, especially if it's like marigolds or dahlias that have a hollow stem. And you may get to the point where, like I am here, where I think I'm actually going to start gluing some on. So I'm going to take a little extra wire here and I'm just going to wrap it closed. All right. So I've got my marigolds here, and you want to cut down as far as you can into the flower so that you can get your glue on. It has something to really adhere to. There we go. Although this one cut too deep, so now it fell apart. You'll have to get used to what the limit is. On roses, you can cut right up to the petals. Okay, that was good. All right, we're going to add this marigold, I think, right here. And again, I like working in odds, so if I need another one, if I need a fourth, then I will also add a fifth. Okay, and then you just got to hold it. You got to hold it in place until it dries because it's cold glue and it takes a while. It takes a while to dry. So what do you think? I'm really happy with that. And actually it goes great with our orange door. But this is a great thing to for celebrating the solstice. I think it's really pretty. It's going to dry very nicely. And it's something nice to greet people when they come to the door. These little ribbons here, I'm sure I really like them, but they do add some nice movement in the breeze. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Like I said, you can make it as long or as big as you want. You can add a stick and wrap everything around like a broomstick, or a stick that you harvest from somewhere in your yard. That looks really cool too. And then there's our little wreath that I just finished. This one I liked as well, and it's very basic, it's very simple, but it can be cute hanging. I think I'm actually going to put this in our guest bathroom. Again, it will dry really nicely. Marigolds dry great, and it'll look good for a long time, even once it's dry. So I hope that inspired you today to go out and maybe get some flowers or cut some stuff from your yard. You can do any kind of branch, any kind of stem from anything you've got. It's most likely going to dry pretty cool, and come up with your own bouquet for your door. Send me a photo. Let me know what you did. I hope you really enjoyed this project. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.